As you know, we just finished the renovations on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and we'll be applying for our final building inspections and certificate of occupancy before the year is out. And so once we get approval, we're going to start decorating the school. Now, let me say this to you though, you have to donate to the school. Nobody will be allowed to attend any FDMG programs, conferences, seminars, activities if they have not donated. So make sure you get on PayPal and donate, or make sure you send a check of money, or I don't care if it's $20, but you make sure you get on the donors list, because if you're not on the donors list, you cannot participate in anything.
Bruh, Dr. Umar really just told a supporter, yeah, you can come to the grand opening, and then hit them with, but you gotta donate first. Like it's a nightclub, like it's a VIP section, like the community gotta pay a cover charge. Are you serious? He literally says nobody will be allowed to attend any FDMG programs, conferences, seminars, activities if they haven't donated. Not if you can't afford it, it's cool. Not everybody welcome. I don't care if it's $20. Get on the donor list. And the crazy part is he says all this while admitting they still need final inspections and a certificate of occupancy. Huh? So you're telling me it's done again, but not approved. But you already planning a spring grand opening and you still gatekeeping the room behind donations? Nah, we got to talk, because this is his words, not mine. And after that, I'm going to tell you why this feels like the same game all over again.
Yo, Dr. Umar, what up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's Maryland treating you there, Brother Harold?
It's good, dude. It's pretty cold here. You know, we had a snowstorm a couple weeks ago, kind of burned down a little bit, but definitely not used to the cold no more. I've been in California for 8 years. I'm just back for a little bit, helping my grandmother with some stuff. I'm definitely getting my blessings that way, though.
Paul, how far is Germantown, Maryland from Wilmington, Delaware?
It's only, I think, about like a few hours. I had a girl who drove over here when I first got here in November, so.
Okay, let me check right now. The reason I'm asking is, you know, we just finished the renovations on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and we'll be applying for our final building inspections and certificate of occupancy before the year is out. And so once we get approval, we're going to start decorating the school. And I was asking because we will be having a grand opening at some point this spring. So you might need to come on through the grand. It's 2 hours. It's 1 hour and 58 minutes. So that don't too bad. Yeah, you might got to come on up to the grand opening, my brother.
Okay, yeah. Definitely give me the tip off. That'd be cool, man.
Now, let me say this to you though. You have to donate to the school. Nobody will be allowed to attend any FDMG programs, conferences, seminars, activities if they have not donated. So make sure you get on PayPal and donate, or make sure you send a check of money, or I don't care if it's $20, but you make sure you get on the donors list, because if you're not on the donors list, you cannot participate in anything.
Okay, talking. Yeah, I have PayPal, so yeah, I can do that.
No doubt. And it's FDMG Academy on PayPal. FDMG Academy, one word.
Bruh, let's start right where the manipulation starts. We just finished the renovations. That sentence is powerful because it's supposed to end the debate. It's supposed to make you go, finally, like the saga is over. And then he goes, we're going to do final inspections and certificate of occupancy before the year is out, which is already telling you it's not open. It's not officially ready. It's not cleared. It's in process. But he doesn't sit in that reality. He immediately jumps to grand opening this spring, like it's guaranteed, like it's scheduled, like it's already printed on flyers. And I'm not saying you can't be optimistic. I'm saying I've seen this movie before. When somebody starts speaking in seasons and vibes instead of dates and approvals, I already know what time it is, because spring is the perfect word. Spring could be March. Spring could be May. Spring could be next spring. Spring could be whatever you need it to be when the time comes and you need an excuse.
So that was a f***ing lie.
So before we even get to the donor list line, I want you to notice the setup. It's not, here's the confirmed opening. It's, we almost there and you should come. And that's the bait. Now here's where it gets disrespectful, because the caller is excited like a normal supporter. He's like, yeah, give me the heads up. Regular energy, no drama. And Umar hits him with, now let me say this to you though. Whenever a man says that, you already know the real terms is coming. Bruh, that's not support the mission if you can. That's not help us keep it running. That's not, we appreciate any contribution. That's a paywall. And he made it bigger than the grand opening. He didn't say for the grand opening, we're asking for donations. He said any programs, any seminars, any activities. Basically, if you want to participate in anything connected to the school, you got to pay. And to me, that changes the relationship.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
That changes the whole story, because you're not just building a school, you're building an ecosystem where access is tied to money. And I'm not mad at fundraising. Everybody raises money, but don't sell it as community and then talk like a bouncer at the door, because community means the people can pull up. The community don't got to prove they paid to be in the room. That's the whole point of community. So when I hear donor list like it's a guest list at a club, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this is. Then he tries to soften it. He's like, I don't care if it's $20, like he's being reasonable. But that's exactly why the $20 line is the tell. Because if the school is truly in its final phase and ready to operate, $20 is not moving a needle, not even a little bit. So why mention $20? Because it's not about the amount, it's about the act. It's about getting you on the list. It's about making sure you cross the line from supporter to payer. That's how systems like this work. Once you pay once, you're psychologically invested. Now you feel like you got to defend it. Now you feel like you can't admit it looks funny because you already put money in.
I mean, it's all right. Like, overrated as in my opinion. I mean, and you know what though? That's typically how the bullshit goes. You feel me?
And the donor list thing is genius for pressure, because now if you ever criticize, he can flip it on you. You ain't even a donor, or you not on the list. It becomes a loyalty badge. Also, $20 makes it hard to say no, because most people can swing $20. So now if you don't, it's not I can't, it becomes I chose not to. And people hate feeling like that. So to me, the $20 line isn't generosity, it's strategy. It's him making the barrier low enough for almost anybody to cross so he can say, now you part of it. And once you're part of it, you're in the cycle, the same cycle he's been running. Now let's get to the part that should make everybody pause. He says renovations are finished, but then he says they're still applying for final building inspections and the certificate of occupancy. That's not a small detail. That's the detail, because you can paint walls all day. You can put furniture in there. You can decorate. None of that matters if the building can't legally be occupied. And I'm not here acting like a construction expert. I'm using basic logic. If you don't have that certificate yet, you can't promise a grand opening like it's already confirmed. But he does what he always does. He talks like the approval is automatic, like it's a formality, like it's, yeah, we just got to submit it. And in reality, that's where things can get delayed. So when he says grand opening this spring, while also saying we still got to get inspected, I hear it as the same pattern. Hope first, money next, accountability later. And here's the thing. He didn't say when we get the COO, we'll announce a date. That would sound normal. He said spring first, then donate. That order matters because it tells me the grand opening is being used as motivation. It's the carrot, and the donation is the stick. Donate or you can't participate. So yeah, to me, that's a contradiction. Not because I hate the mission, not because I want them to fail, but because the words don't line up. Done doesn't mean we still need permission to let people inside. Those are two different realities. And if you're listening and you still defending it, cool. Just answer one question honestly. How many times can somebody say we almost there before you stop calling it progress and start calling it the same game? Let me break this down real simple. The certificate of occupancy is not some cute little stamp. It's not optional. It's literally the thing that decides if the building can legally have people inside it. Like you can finish renovations all day. You can put in floors, paint, desks, posters, whatever. But if the city hasn't signed off that it's safe and compliant, you don't get to operate like a school. You don't get to host events like it's a conference center. You don't get to pack people in there for a grand opening. That's why the order of his words matters. We finish renovations is a vibe statement. COO is a reality statement. One is trust me. The other is here is the official approval. That's when you need to wake up, because that is exactly where timelines break. That is where spring becomes summer, then becomes fall, then becomes next year, then becomes we got delayed. And I'm not even saying he won't get it. I'm saying you cannot talk like it's already done when the biggest gatekeeper step is still in front of you. That's like me telling you the album is out while I'm still waiting on the distributor to approve it. Like, come on. So when he says grand opening this spring, I'm not taking that as a date. I'm taking that as motivation. It's a way to keep the story alive. And that's the real issue. Not fundraising, not dreaming big. It's the way the words keep skipping the hard proof part. Now let's call it what it is, the mass slip, because he didn't have to say that donor list part. He could have said, pull up, bring your family, celebrate the work. He could have said, we appreciate donations, but everybody welcome. That's what a movement sounds like. But he didn't. He said you can't participate in anything unless you donate it. That's not a community invitation. That's a transaction. And look how he did it. He built it up like a reward. Grand opening. Come through. Then once you emotionally lean in, he hits you with the toll. That's how this works. People don't respond to give me money anymore. So you attach it to access. You attach it to belonging. You attach it to being on the list. Now money feels like proof of loyalty. And the wildest part is, the caller wasn't even asking for anything. He wasn't begging to be invited. Umar invited him. Then Umar turned around and made the invite conditional. That's not leadership. That's leverage. So yeah, in my opinion, that one moment told the whole story. It wasn't a school update. It was a fundraising tactic disguised as a celebration. Now, this is where I bring in the bigger pattern, because I don't want anybody acting like this is a one-time slip. This is the cycle. It's always the same rhythm. We almost done. We just need a little more. This is the final push. This is for the kids.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
Then the finish line moves again, and you can hear it in his words right here. Renovations finished. Okay, then immediately, final inspections and certificate of occupancy. Then immediately, grand opening in spring. Then immediately, you must donate. That is the formula. Hope, then paperwork, then optimism, then money. Over and over. And the reason this pattern works is because supporters want it to be true. They want this to succeed so bad that they accept seasonal promises and vibes as if they are official facts. Spring sounds like a plan, but spring is not a plan. Spring is a feeling. And when you mix spring with donor lists, you know what that creates? FOMO. It creates fear of missing out. Oh shoot, I gotta donate so I can be there. It pressures people to act now instead of asking questions. That's why I call it the same game. Not because I'm hating, because the structure repeats. Let's talk psychology real quick, because donor gating is not random. It's a tactic. The first thing it does is it flips the power dynamic. Instead of the leader earning trust through delivery, the supporter proves loyalty through payment. Now the supporter is always the one qualifying. Second, it makes people police each other.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Donors feel like real insiders. Non-donors feel like outsiders. Now the community is divided by who paid. Third, it creates sunk costs. If you donated last year and then again this year, you don't want to admit it looks shaky. You start defending harder, not because you're convinced, but because you're invested. And the $20 thing is the perfect psychological hook. It makes the barrier easy. So now almost anybody can be pressured into it. Then once you pay, you're on the list. Now you feel entitled to defend it. Now you feel like you belong. That's why I'm saying this grand opening talk is not just about a party. It's about maintaining a system where money equals access and access equals loyalty. And if you still don't see it, answer this. If the mission is the community, why is the community being charged to participate? Because that's where it stops being a movement and starts feeling like a toll booth. Look, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm not even here to scream criminal or act like I got bank statements. I don't need all that to call out what's right in front of my face, because the strategy is obvious. It's not donate because we're transparent and we need X amount by X date. It's donate so you can be allowed in the room. That's a different relationship. Fundraising is normal. Every organization raises money, but most legitimate organizations don't tell supporters, you can't come to the community event unless you paid. That's not a donation. That's a cover charge with spiritual branding. And when you do that, you're not asking for support anymore. You're selling access. You're selling belonging. You're selling the feeling of being down with the mission. So yeah, in my opinion, it looks like a hustle. How he's asking, when he's asking, and what he's attaching the money to. He didn't present a budget. He didn't present a timeline. He didn't present approvals. He presented a grand opening fantasy in a donor list requirement. That's not how you lead people. That's how you manage an audience. Now, if you're somebody who donated, I'm not laughing at you. I'm not calling you dumb. A lot of people donated because they believed in the idea. A school like that sounds powerful. But right now, the reality is you're being put in a pressure box, because the moment you hear grand opening, your brain goes, okay, it's finally happening. Then the next sentence is donate or you can't participate. So now it's like, if you don't donate, you feel like you're missing history. If you do donate, you're reinforcing the system. That's the trap. And supporters need to stop playing defense and start asking for clarity, because the mission is too serious for vibes. If you're about to send money, you should be asking, what is the actual confirmed opening date? What does grand opening even mean? Is the building legally approved for occupancy? Is it a real operational launch, or is it just a photo op event? Because that's the part that keeps getting blurred. Renovations done doesn't equal school open. Grand opening doesn't equal students enrolled. Those are different things. And until those questions are answered, donating just because you got FOMO is how you stay stuck in the same game. Here's what I want everybody to start doing moving forward, because I'm tired of the emotional roller coaster. Number 1, stop donating off speeches. Donate off receipts. If the COO is part of the story, then show the COO. If the inspections are part of the story, then tell us the inspection outcomes, not we applying. Number 2, demand specific dates, not seasons, not soon, not spring, dates. And if a date changes, explain why with details. No more vague delays.
We don't do that here.
Number 3, separate celebration events from operational readiness. A grand opening could be a ribbon cut, a photo moment, a tour. That does not automatically mean the school is running. Number 4, watch the order of the pitch. If the leader is talking money before proof, that's a red flag. If the leader is making access conditional on payment, that's another red flag. And number 5, don't let the cause guilt trip you out of common sense. The kids deserve better than endless fundraising cycles. The community deserves honesty, not hype. That's my standard. That's the standard I want y'all to start adopting. This is bigger than Umar. This is about how we treat leadership in general, because we got a cultural issue where we let certain people become untouchable because the message sounds good. And once they become untouchable, accountability disappears. Now every delay is hate. Every question is disrespect. Every critique is you against the mission. Nah. The mission is exactly why you should be the most accountable. If you claim you're building for the community should not be paywalled from participation. That's backwards. The whole point is access. The whole point is uplift. So when I hear donor list attached to grand opening, I don't hear progress. I hear a system maintaining itself. And if you're still rocking with him, cool. You don't have to hate him to ask for proof. You don't have to be a hater to demand reality. Because at the end of the day, this is a school, not a mixtape rollout, not a movie trailer, a school. So if it's done again, then prove it. If it's opening in spring, then show the approvals. And if it's really for the community, stop charging the community to be in the room. That's where I'm at with it. Look, I'm not even celebrating this. I'm not happy to sit here and say same game again, because the idea of a school like this, in theory, is beautiful. A real institution for the community, built on purpose, built on discipline, built on love and structure. That's something people will rally behind without hesitation. But what I can't ignore is the pattern, the seasonal promises, the almost there language, the way the finish line stays just close enough to keep hope alive, and the donation request stays consistent. And then the part that really rubbed me the wrong way in this call, the part that made the mask slip, is tying community participation to a donor list like it's a VIP wristband. Because once you do that, you're not inviting the community, you managing access. You turning a movement into a gate. And maybe some people will still say, well, that's how you fund things. Cool. But then be transparent, be specific, show receipts, show approvals. Don't speak like something is done while also admitting you still waiting on the most important green light. And I'm gonna keep it real. This is why so many of us stay stuck in these cycles culturally. We defend personalities instead of demanding proof. We confuse passion with progress. We accept vibes when we should be asking for verification. And then we get mad when people question it. Like accountability is hate. Nah, accountability is love, especially when you claiming to build something for the people. So here's my question for you. If a leader tells you it's done, but the finish line keeps moving, how many times do you let that slide before you stop calling it delays and start calling it the same game? And if you want to go deeper, if you don't know the full story, the video that just popped on your screen is covering the entire timeline, the exposés, the patterns, the claims, the contradictions, all of it. So if you missed anything, you can watch that and connect every dot for yourself. And I'll see you on the next one. Panda out.